Hi everyone, welcome back. I'm Dai, and today I'm sharing with you my November manga haul. So, November manga haul does look like a lot, but I will tell you there are a couple of very thick volumes in here. But I'm really excited for everything that I picked up. So, let's get into it. First off the top here, I have 365 Days to the Wedding. This has story and art by Tamaki Wakaki, published by 7 Seas, rated teen. So this one follows our two characters here on the cover. They both work for a travel agency. The travel agency announces plans to open a branch of their agency in Siberia and are looking for single unattached employees through their roster to staff that location. These two are single and unattached, and they don't want to be moving to Siberia, so they hatch a plan to have a fake engagement to prevent them from being selected to move to that branch. So we kind of follow them crafting this plan, trying to work through it, and basically how they deal with situations in the office. I enjoy this story so far. I've watched the live action drama adaptation. I really enjoyed that, and so I'm looking forward to continuing with this series. I have Tamon's B-Side, Volume 9 by Yuki Shiwasu, published by Viz, rated teen? Yes. So this one is about a woman who is a big fan of a particular idol from an idol group, and she needs to have a job in order to buy all of the merch. And so we kind of follow her and her job where she cleans houses for a living. And one day she gets assigned to the house of her favorite idol. And she starts to get to know him and realizes that the him on stage is very different from the him off stage. And so we follow them getting to know each other and kind of her discovering how he actually is in real life and them getting closer throughout situations that have come up. I've really enjoyed what I've read so far of the series. There's a lot of situations that have to do with what I would think someone in the idol industry might have to deal with. And it seems really interesting, and I enjoy watching the banter between our two characters, and I think it's really, really cute, and so I'm looking forward to continuing with that one. I have Volume 19 of Mission Yozakura Family. This one has story and art by Hitsuji Gondaira, published by Viz, rated teen. So in this one, we follow a guy who becomes orphaned and ends up joining his best friend's family. But what he doesn't know is that his best friend's family is a family full of spies. And so he needs to learn how to become a spy, and not only to save himself and keep himself safe, but to also protect his best friend. And so it's really interesting. There's a lot of comedy in this series. The kind of cast of characters is rather large because the family itself has a lot of people in it. And I just really have enjoyed what I've read so far, and I'm looking forward to continuing with this one. I have Volume 1 of End Roll Back. This one is by Kantetsu and Haruna Nakazato, and it's published by Alien Books, and it's rated mature. So we had picked this one up because it looked interesting, but I hadn't heard about it before. This one says, Yuka Mamita commits suicide after being bullied. Plunged into the depths of desperation, her older brother, Asaharu, finds himself at a crossroads. But then, out of nowhere, an angel appears before him with a strange proposal. Kill the person that killed Yuka Mamiya. If you do that, I'll bring her back to life. This is what leads him to start this macabre game of find the culprit, where time is of the essence. He has only 3 months to complete his mission, because if he fails, he will have to sacrifice some of his own lifespan and start all over again. Who will emerge victorious in this race against time? Will Asaharu be able to protect his sister and avenge her tragic fate? Immerse yourself in this emotional, unpredictable mystery. So, yes, definitely sounded very interesting, and I'm looking forward to checking this one out. I have Volume 1 of Tales of the 100 Monsters Next Door by Yoshiko Watanuki. This one is published by 7 Seas, rated older teen. So it says, strange phenomena just around the corner. A man plagued by demons, Katagiri Jinpachi, and the curious yokai enthusiast known as Ghost Sensei Harada Oriza, bound by their connection to the other side. Their chronicle of eerie mysteries, both strange and chilling, begins here. So it looked really interesting. And so I'm really looking forward to checking this one out. We picked up volume 1 of Hooligans. This one has story and art by Iro Itani, published by Seven Seas, rated older teen. In a world of alchemy and chaos, one man and his crew of devilishly depraved accomplices will do whatever it takes to create utopia. In 19th century London, deep in the East End, there lives the Hooligans, a band of miscreants led by alchemist Lee Hartrib, the current head of the Antilia family of mafia. Entrusted with guardianship of the city by his predecessor, Lee uses his alchemy to keep the junkies happy, but his true aim is creating a paradise for the good of the people. And sometimes that involves getting his hands dirty, especially when he's pitted against the other mafia heads or shadowy beings who want to eliminate human life on Earth. A new world order is on the horizon, with the Hooligans leading the way. So I thought that sounded really interesting. The art style on the cover also looks very interesting, but I'm kind of surprised at how thin this volume is. And so, yeah, I'm not really one that enjoys historicals a lot, but if the story will pull me in, which I'm hoping this one will do, it does sound like an interesting premise, and so I'm looking forward to checking that one out. Okay, when I saw this one, I absolutely had to have it. And this one is Falling in Love with a Traveling Cat by Juno. And this one's Mofu-san's first illustrated book. This one's published by Udon Entertainment. And there is no age rating on it, but I would think it's probably like all ages. I mean, it's Mofu-san. So I really had no idea about Mofu-san until about this summer. We started doing a lot of arcade visits, which is something new for us this year. And particularly the arcade that we frequent often is one that also has claw machines. And that arcade also carries a lot of Mofu-san in their claw machines. There's usually a Mofu-san that you can collect in one of their little machines or whatever. And I've been really enjoying collecting these cats. And I'm not really a cat person. If you were to ask me if I like cats or dogs better, I would tell you that I like dogs better. But there's just something about this cat that I think is so adorable. And so I've been enjoying collecting these Mofu-san plushes over the last 6 months or so. And so when I saw this that being advertised, I was like, oh my gosh, absolutely have to have that. So I picked this one up. Look how cute they are. Oh my goodness. So this one says, where would you like to travel? The aquarium, the amusement park, the great outdoors, the hot springs? Make a plan and pack your little bag. The cute kitties of Mofu-san have conquered Japan, and now they're taking a trip. Incredible illustrator Juno brings the lives and travels of these cats to life in Falling in Love with a Traveling Cat. And so, yes, they're very adorable, and there's more of them on the back. And they're just so cute. I actually have one that looks like this, but it's gray. There was this one in the machine, but I went for the gray one instead because I really, really enjoy the gray kitties. And I actually just recently got one with an apple costume, kind of like this one down here, but it's also a gray kitty. And so, yes, very, very cute. And I'm looking forward to checking that one out. I have volume 2 of Twisted Wonderland, the manga book of Savannah Claw. So this one is original concept by Yana Toboso and story and art by Suzuka Oda. This one's published by Viz, rated teen. So in this series, there are a bunch of different sub-series underneath it. So the first part of this series is the Heart's Labial arc. And we basically follow a guy in the real world who is a high schooler. And as he's walking home from one of his kendo practices, he gets picked up by this carriage. and transported to this magical school. And in this school, they have several houses, and all of the houses are kind of fashioned after a Disney villain. So the first arc of this follows like the house that the Queen of Hearts kind of represents. And in this one, the house is the house that kind of represents Scar from The Lion King. And so I have really enjoyed what I've read of this so far. I haven't yet started the Savannah Claw arc, but I have read the Heart's Labial one, and I really enjoyed it. And you can't beat the art style, because Yana Taboso. And so, yes, really, really looking forward to checking out this one. But I think what I'm probably going to do is wait until all of the sections of that particular arc is out, and then just read right through the entire thing. I saw this one when we were at the store for the club meeting, and I thought it looked interesting. And this one is Cross-Dressed for the IRL Meetup by Kurano. This one is published by Kodansha, rated older teen. And so it's a bind-up, contains volumes 1 and 2 of the Japanese edition. A lighthearted comedy about love, friendship, gender, nonconformity, and what it means to be your true self. So Coco has made 3 best friends in her monthly meetup group, where girls get together every month to quell their sweet tooths by meeting up at the cutest and trendiest new desserts cafes. Coco is in it for the sweets, really, but she also harbors a few secrets. Not only does Coco have a crush on another one of the girls in the group, Opera, but she's actually a guy named Satoshi who's been cross-dressing in order to attend an all-girl group. During one meetup, things come to a head when Opera discovers that Coco is cross-dressing, and to Coco's surprise, Opera confesses that he is too. But Coco realizes that his attraction to Opera is more than clothing deep, and as the two grow closer, they'll learn more about each other and their own selves than they could have ever imagined. So I thought it looked really, really cute, and obviously there's going to be a lot of desserts because that's what they do, right? And so I'm looking forward to checking this one out. I picked up the first volume of D and Angel, the new edition. This one is by Yukiru Sugisaki, published by Yen Press, rated teen. So I actually have everything that was published by Viz in my collection already. I have not yet read it, but I have watched the entirety of the anime, and I really, really enjoyed it. And so when I found out they were re-releasing this through another publisher with a new publication, and it was actually going to contain stuff that the Viz publication did not, because the series hadn't finished when Viz completed their run, I absolutely had to pick it up. And this publication is just gorgeous, with all of the gold as well on the cover. And so this one says, descending from the depths of night, Dorky, Daisuke, and devilishly dashing Dark return in a new special edition. They're bigger and better than ever, with full-color chapter illustrations in this updated omnibus collection. Today was the day Daisuke Niwa was determined to tell the girl of his dreams how he feels about her, and maybe, hopefully, become her boyfriend. Except, she's flat out rejected him. And now he's stuck with his alter ego, the legendary phantom thief Dark. That means both the police and his classmate Satoshi Hiwatari, the prodigious son of the police commissioner, who knew, are after him. And what's worse, the only way to stop the body swap is to woo the object of his affections as his usual klutzy self. So, I remember the body swapping, and Dark is like phantom thief, and so there's definitely some mysterious elements that have to do with that. And kind of, I remember Daisuke having to go through like training and things, because this is like a thing that's, I believe, passed down through his family, the whole Dark moving from body to body throughout the generations of his family. And so, yeah, I think that's what I remember. I remember enjoying it, and I remember it being cute as far as the romance goes. So I'm really looking forward to refreshing my memory on this series, finally reading it through to completion, and just enjoying being back with these characters. And so, yes, really, really looking forward to this one. But again, I'm probably going to collect more of them before I dig in, because I have a feeling I'm going to really, really be able to enjoy this one as a like marathon type read. And so, yes. And volume 3 of Senpai is an Otokonoko, My Cross-Dressing Classmate by Palm. This one is published by Kodansha Rated Teen. So this is a webtoon that's being published physically. And in this one, we follow a few high school aged kids. And one of them is someone who cross-dresses regularly to school. And they get confessed to by a younger classmate. And it's kind of the story of them getting to know each other better, along with the cross-dressing classmate's best friend and things that they go through, I guess. The first volume was very interesting. There were lots of things that I enjoyed about it. I'm looking forward to continuing with this one. And so, yes, really, really interesting. And I'm looking forward to seeing where this one goes. I have 3 volumes from the same series here. And so I have volumes 2, 3, and 4 of the Ayakashi Hunter's Tainted Bride. This one is by Midori Yuma and manga by Maminosuke Fujimaru, published by Kodansha, rated older teen. So this one is about a woman. When she was born, she had an exorbitant amount of spiritual powers, and it's to a level where the people in the area haven't seen for a very, very long time. So she becomes very prized. She gets betrothed to the son of another really prominent family. But unfortunately, something happens to her where she becomes attacked by an Ayakashi and is subsequently scarred by that attack. And so what happens is her value has now been diminished. And even though she still has the same amount of spiritual power, because she's been marked, she's basically worthless. So fast forward a few years later, her cousin ends up marrying her previous fiance. And now she is kind of a slave in their household. And her previous fiance's family, part of what they do is they matchmake for other people to bring in money to the household. And so an Ayakashi hunter comes to them looking for a bride and notices our main character's amount of spiritual power and decides that he's going to take her for his bride. And so we kind of follow her going out of her village for the first time and learning about what this guy's profession actually is, and then living in his house, which is full of Ayakashi. And so I really, really enjoyed the first volume. If you've been following along with my manga advent calendar project, I did read the first volume for this project, so you can find out my first impressions of the volume in that particular video. I'll try to link it either in the cards or down in the description box below if you haven't seen it. But basically, my manga advent calendar project is me giving my first impressions on 25 different series this month. So there's a new video every day. So if you haven't checked those out, I will also link the playlist down in the description box below if you're interested. But I enjoyed this one so much. I picked up the next 3 volumes while we were at the Barnes & Noble for the Monochrome Manga Club meeting. And really, really am looking forward to continuing with that one. I have the 8th volume of Villains Are Destined to Die by Suol, with original story by Gwon Gyo-ul. This one is published by Issei Press, rated teen. So in this one, we follow a woman who is really enjoying an otome game and eventually gets transported into that game as the villainess. And so we follow her with all of her knowledge of how the story plays out in this game, and basically trying to get out of the game with that knowledge, but also trying to change the story to benefit her, right? And so I've been really, really enjoying this series. It is now available in light novel as well, which I have the first volume of, I think, but I have not yet read it. But I have read several volumes from the manhwa and really have been enjoying this one. It's just so interesting, like how she kind of makes her decisions and figures out like what she's going to do in certain situations. I would say that more at the beginning part of this series, we get more of those video game elements, where you have like the screens where it's like she's still playing. But later in the series, I feel like those kind of drop away. And I've just been really enjoying her journey and seeing like all the things and how the story is turning and things like that. And so I'm really looking forward to checking this one out. I feel like it's been quite a while since we've had a new volume of this one, but yes, really looking forward to it. And it is a full color publication, so that's really nice as well. And so yeah, really excited for that one. And the art style in that one is just gorgeous. Okay, I've got 2 volumes from the same series, but they're technically 2 different publications. So I'm just going to talk to you about them together. So I have volumes 3 and 4 of Tokyo Revengers in the brilliant full color edition by Ken Wakui, published by 7 Seas, rated older teen. And then I have the final omnibus of the series in the black and white with volumes 29 through 31. I am reading this week. The week that you're seeing this, I have probably read it already if I'm on schedule, because this is the series that we have been reading with the Monochrome Manga Club, and will be finishing this series this month. I will say that I am very excited to finish this series, but I'm also a little bit scared. This series is about our main character, who is this guy here on the cover, Takemichi. And when we meet him, he's in his mid-20s, and he has the news on, and he finds out through a newscast that his girlfriend from when he was in middle school was killed by a gang that he used to know way back when. And so through a twist of events, he finds he's able to travel back in time to that time when he was in middle school, and decides that he's going to try to change the fate of his girlfriend. And it's been a really interesting ride. Really, really interesting. I've been enjoying this series a lot. We've been enjoying the conversations we've been having with our manga club members about it, even though my daughter and I are the only ones pretty much of the club who haven't had any experience with this series until we started reading this one. The members have been very, very good about not spoiling things for us. And the conversations have just been really, really good. Very exciting, lots of energy. And so I'm looking forward to finishing this one up and starting a new series. But I am very scared about how this one's going to end. There are lots of things going through my mind about where we've been through this series, some of the characters that we've lost as we've gone through this series and things like that. And so, yes. So I will be finishing this one this month, and I'm looking forward to it. But we are also double dipping with the full color editions because we have really, really enjoyed this series as we've read it, and so we definitely want to have this edition as well. And I think I will probably read this edition when I reread the series. I think the color might help with some things that I had a little bit of confusion with as I was going through the series. And this character here is one of my favorites that was from the series. And so, yes, double dipping, but for a good reason. My daughter will end up with one of those publications, and I will keep the other one. But really, really good experience reading that series. A very enjoyable series, and just one that I'm looking forward to re-experiencing again, because I think there's so many things that happen in that series that on a reread, as with anything that you reread, the chance that you're going to pick up on things that you missed the first time is great. And I think there might be things in there that I completely like didn't connect or missed or whatever. And so I'm looking forward to taking that journey again. Okay, and then I think the rest of what I have here are light novels. So I have SCP Foundation, Iris Through the Looking Glass, Volume 1. This one is by Akira and illustrated by Shidu. This one's published by Seven Seas Entertainment and is rated teen. So I actually listened to an audiobook narration of this one during November. In November, I was focusing on light novels, and this one was available to borrow from an Audible Plus program. And so I did borrow it. It was very interesting, but I think there were some things that I might have missed because of the narration. So in this particular one, we have a guy who, every time he looks at a photo, this girl here shows up in that photo, and he doesn't know why. And then one day the girl pulls him into the photo. He ends up at this facility where they kind of research strange phenomena. And so we follow him finding out about this foundation and some strange occurrences, strange objects and things like that, getting to know this girl who actually pulled him into the photo, and like basically cases. They're different like case files. So it's really interesting. I enjoyed it. It's very episodic, but there's a part of this that is like redacted information. So as far as the audiobook goes, they played a sound whenever the redactions came up in the text. And it kind of bothered me as the audiobook went on. And I think because of the fact that it was a bit irritating as we went through, I started to miss some things. So I wanted to have a physical copy to be able to read back through. And I'll show you the first page. You can see there's a redaction right there. So anytime there was something like that in the text, there was a sound. And so, you know, it comes up quite regularly, especially when it comes to the main character's name, because that's one of the things that is redacted. And so, yeah, I'm definitely going to reread this one because I enjoyed it. And I didn't realize until after I had finished this one that SCP Foundation is actually a much bigger thing. And this is just a story that is set in the world of SCP Foundation. And so there are lots of other different stories and publications that include this foundation. And so I haven't actually had the time to dig in and find out more about this or read anything else that's set with this foundation, but I definitely have interest in doing so. And so, yeah. I enjoyed this one, and so I picked it up. It says first novel. I think there is a second one, but I can't find it. And so, yeah, I'm not quite sure what happened there, but if there would be more released with this particular series, I'd be interested in reading it. So, really, really enjoyed that, and that's the reason why I picked that one up. I have the second light novel edition of Omniscient Reader's Viewpoint by Sing & Song. This one's published by Issei Press, rated 13 and up, so that is teen. So this is just a beautiful publication. I'm really, really enjoying the black covers with the step backs. But this one is about a guy who is the only reader of a web novel, and as he is coming home from work one day, he ends up reading the last part of that web novel. And then once he's finished, things in the real world start happening that are exactly like what had happened in the web novel that he had read. And so with him being the only reader of that web novel, he's the only one to know what's coming, what's happening. And so we follow him kind of going through the story and making his decisions based on what he knows. Really, really interesting concept. We ended up reading the first volume of the manhwa with the Monochrome Manga Club because it was heavily suggested by one of our members. And we actually really, really enjoyed it. My daughter actually enjoyed it so much that she's been reading it from the web novel or from the webtoons and discussing with the member, because I haven't actually read past, even though I really, really want to. I'm definitely going to put that one on my list to focus on for next year, because I want to be able to discuss things with my daughter. And I'm collecting the light novels because I think my experience with the light novel might be better. I have found that I enjoy light novels a little bit more than reading the manga or manhwa, because they're able to put in more details in the stories because they don't have to save space for illustrations. And so I'm excited to see what I think between the light novels and the manhwa, which I am collecting because my daughter's reading that version. But yes, really, really enjoying this series so far. At least my daughter is. And I really enjoyed the first volume of the manhwa. But I'm looking forward to checking out these light novels. And they are very, very gorgeous publications. The Villains Are Destined to Die light novels, at least the first one was also black. And it's just gorgeous. I really, really love the look of those. And then I picked this one up, which looked really interesting. And it is The Beauty's Blade by this person, Bang Ren Zhou Shu. I am not sure. I wish they would put a pronunciation. And this is why I like audiobooks for these types of things, because it definitely helps with that. But I don't want to flip too far through the back because I might spoil myself. But in any case, this is a GL Chinese Baihei novel. So it says, a duel of swords and hearts, brash, brilliant, and beautiful Fu Wang Qing is an unconventional choice to inherit the leadership of the most prestigious martial sect. Known for her fiery temper and formidable swordplay, there's only one person she considers a worthy rival, the enigmatic woman who leads the demonic sect, Yu Shangyan. Eager to prove herself, Fu challenges Yu to a duel, but Yu has no interest in such theatrics, until Fu offers something she can't ignore, a rare medicine that might save one of her own. The price? She must stay by Fu's side for 3 months. What begins as a strategic maneuver soon evolves into something more perilous as rivalry gives way to unexpected intimacy. Fu sought a duel, but is she prepared to fall in love? So I thought that might be interesting. I haven't actually read another GL that's Chinese. I have read a little bit of, obviously, manga that's GL. But I find that I don't read a lot of GL, and I definitely want to expand my horizons with those. And so I thought this one sounded really interesting, and I'm looking forward to it. I have been enjoying the Danmei that I've read so far. It definitely has a different feel than I had expected, because they seem to be very, calm, I would say. Kind of reads. They're very relaxed, and I guess I just didn't expect that type of feel from at least the ones that I've read. I've kind of expected a little bit more, I don't know, mystery definitely for the first one that I had picked up, but even the more contemporary BL that I had read, or contemporary Danmei that I had read, still also felt very kind of chill, just kind of hang out with me type of a feeling. So I'm kind of wondering if this one's going to feel that way also. So I'm looking forward to checking it one out. And obviously, swordplay and duels. Yes, thank you. And so that's everything that I picked up in November. I'm very, very interested in lots of things that I picked up. Obviously, things to continue series, things to revisit series, and new things to look into. And I think I have a lot of interesting things there. So let me know down in the comments below if you've picked any of this up and what you thought of it. But please no spoilers. Again, I will link my playlist for my manga advent calendar project if you're interested in checking out some first impressions that I've had of series that I've already read this month. And if nothing else, and you'd just like to let me know that you were here, if you could leave me a wintry emoji down in the comments below, it would be greatly appreciated and would really help me out. And that will do it for me today. So I hope you're all doing great. I hope you're all safe and healthy. And until next time, take care and smile always. Bye.